drama in the NBA this entire offseason. And last night, it felt like was probably one of the most dramatic things that I have ever, honestly, in all of this whole, like, you know, back and forth between agents and GMs and teams. When have you ever heard a player come out and say what James Harden said about Daryl Morey?
I've never heard it. But what I'll say is James Harden always asks for trades, and he's going to get his trade by hook or by crook, baby. Whoa. He doesn't give a damn. He will dig into that bag. He'll wear a fat suit. He'll tell you he didn't say he wanted to trade in the first place, and now in front of kids at a charity event that he was running
in China,
he will tell everyone, I will never play for Daryl Morey. He's a liar, and I do not want to be part of a franchise that he is managing.
And then he said, let me
say it again.
Let me say that again.
I'm frustrated by this in a lot of ways. And the reason I say that is James Harden, he's going to have to start to understand the inner workings of how these things, like, he wanted to go to the Rockets at the beginning of the offseason. Ime Udoka shot that down. He said, no, I don't want James Harden on my team. I'd rather have Fred VanVleet and Dillon Brooks. Okay. So they do that. Off top, James is a little perturbed. Now he asked for a trade once he opts into his player option. And the only taker out there right now, Kenny, you could tell me if I'm wrong. And I guess that, like, they could do some backdoor deals here, and maybe there's a Dame James Harden trade that goes down, but I don't think that's there. The only taker seems to be the Clippers, right?
Well, that's the only team that James Harden has said he has made a point. I want to go to the Clippers.
And then the reason that he said this at his charity event is because Daryl Morey and the 76ers have shut down trade talks because they don't think that they can get all they want out of a James Harden trade. And I don't blame them by any stretch of the imagination, right?
Where do you lie on this? Because you've got the Dame Dollar situation. You got the James Harden situation. You got Portland trying to deal with that. Him saying, I'm only going to go to Miami. Dame Dollar saying that. You got James saying, I only want to go to L.A. Both of these franchises are saying,
I think it's BS. I think because you're handcuffing the franchise, because now they're not going to get a good return on you, because whoever wants to go make that deal knows how desperate you are to get rid of that guy and how much they're not willing to play for you in any other franchise. So your hands are tied, and you have to take less than what you're owed or worth, or what they're worth on the open market. That frustrates the hell out of me, man, because you could hurt a franchise long term doing that. And there's, I mean,
I've heard people say that franchises are obligated to kind of fulfill the wishes of these guys.
Okay, Damian Lillard's a little different. He's been in Portland for how long? His entire career. And Joe Cronin wants to do right by him, and they want to. James Harden has been in a 76ers uniform for a year and a half. What do they owe him? Like, let's be honest. A 34-year-old that couldn't get them over the hump in the Eastern Conference. What do they owe him?
And they paid him
so
much money, Gabe.
Just be honest with me. What do they particularly owe James Harden? Damian Lillard, I think, is a different situation altogether. He's given the best years of his life to that Portland Trailblazers franchise, and they have ruined it in a lot of ways. It's not through a fault of not trying. They just didn't hit on some of the guys they brought in. Yusuf Nurkic was always hurt. CJ McCollum was too short. They had too small of a backcourt then. Jeremy Grant just didn't turn out to be a great I mean, he's a good player, but he didn't turn out to be perfect alongside Dame. But it's through no fault of trying, but he's given some good years, and the Trailblazers have failed to surround him with the pieces to go win a championship. The 76ers have what they need. It's just James Harden has lost a step. He's inconsistent, and they need somebody to be able to run that point. Now, do I think they're better, and do I think that they should go into the year with James Harden? If James Harden wants to play for the 76ers, hell yes. He's at $35.6 million. He's not taking a whole bunch of money, but they'll be better with him in a 76ers uniform as long as he stays, because then if he leaves, you're going to have to find a new lead guard. Is Tyrese Maxey ready to take the steps? There's a lot of questions and no answers. But for James Harden to do this, I think there's a day of reckoning coming from him. He's 34 years old. He's got to understand his worth.
Well, there's a reason why he didn't go into the open market, Gabe.
But if I'm a franchise, Kenny, who needs a lead guard, how am I going to rationalize? This dude's asked for 3 trades in how many years? 3 trades in 4 or 5 years?
4 or 5 years, yeah. Houston.
How can I rationalize signing this guy to a max contract when I know at the first inconvenience he's going to tell me to F off?
You can't.
I can't. And he's 34 years old. He's not as good as he used to be. He's a volume shooter that sometimes is very inefficient. Like, James Harden's got to start understanding his value. And you see this sometimes with just older players that have been great in their past. They don't realize when they're starting to slow down. And I think James Harden's right there. And also, for Daryl Morey, I kind of feel for him because he has gone out of his way to try to treat James Harden the right way. He really has. And people may disagree with that statement, but I don't give a damn. Daryl Morey oversaw his MVP year,
right?
His assist championships, his scoring championships, 55 playoff wins. And during that time, James Harden averaged 29 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists. He gave the green light to James Harden to say, you do whatever the hell you want to do. You run this franchise. And now James Harden has turned on him. And that relationship, which was rock solid when he went to the 76ers, that's the reason he went to the 76ers in the first place. That relationship that was rock solid is already broken apart because James Harden feels as if he's being disrespected by Daryl Morey because Daryl Morey doesn't want to trade him for a bag of balls. That's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
I'm a pro player guy, but that's crazy.
I'm a pro player person too, and I like some of the player empowerment things going on in the NBA because I think some of these guys need to be treated better and allowed to win. They need to be put in winning situations. But James Harden is in a winning situation. He is. He's just got to take it upon himself to get better and get that team over the hump, but he doesn't want to do that right this second. And it's just, if I'm 76ers fan, if I'm Daryl Morey, if I'm anybody in that front office, I'm pissed off and frustrated. But it sounds like Daryl Morey, according to a report I saw today, Daryl Morey says he doesn't give a damn what James said.
He said he is unmoved.
Yeah, he doesn't give a damn because let's be honest, he's seen this before. Yeah. He's seen James and how James acts when he doesn't get his way.
This is Tuesday for him.
Exactly. He's used to this, but I find it strange that James Harden's willing to burn that bridge the way he is right this second when Daryl Morey has been one of the bigger keys to success for him in his career.
You know, it's funny because like at the beginning of the offseason, we're sitting here going, man, Dame Dollar just really messed Portland up. And God, what a diva. That's kind of been the story about him. James Harden said, hold my beer, bro.
Yeah,
I got you.
I still can't get it in front of a damn charity event in front of kids
in China.
Like, why can't you just tell the press that app? Like, call Woj. Call Shams and tell them how you feel. You don't have to tell all the kids that Daryl Morey's a piece of garbage.
That's always been the way it's done. So that's why I woke up this morning and I was like, no way this is real.
And he knew cameras were on him. But again, it does show he's willing to go to no end to get what he wants.
Golly.
He'll wear a fat suit. He'll eat some Whataburger.
Yes, he will.
He'll go to the strip club. He'll do whatever
he'll hang out with little baby.
He'll do whatever he needs to do to go get that trade request fulfilled.